Weather. My name is Julie Godot, and we're going to talk about the weather forecast for this weekend for the Twin Cities, as well as take a look at the forecast for your next week, for your upcoming work week and school week. We're going to look at the national outlook and what's going to be going on across the country. We're going to talk about the wonderful city of St. Paul here that's in the view behind me. And we had those high, strong winds today, and we saw those winds reach speeds up to 40 to 50 miles per hour at times across the state of Minnesota today, as well as the Dakotas, parts of Iowa, and into Wisconsin. We saw in Illinois, we saw those winds just been buffeting our camera around out there, and it's been an exciting day in the weather department as we saw some showers pop up in the afternoon, instability as that cold air is in place, and there was just enough warm air to get enough lift out of it with that area of low pressure off to our northeast. We were on the backside of that low, so we saw some instability showers pop up with some fairly heavy rain and snow shower mix or wintry precipitation at time, but that's starting to die down now as we're losing the instability of the afternoon and going to be heading into the evening hours. But those winds will continue for a while, but they will ease up as well as we get into the overnight hours. But those winds will be back with us tomorrow, although just not as strong. So let's take a look at the national radar map right now take a look at what's going on across the nation. All right, here we go. We're going to take a look at the radar and take a look at what's going on across the nation right now as we look at the Northeast. It's been an area that I've been talking about a lot the last couple of days because it's been our hotspot across the nation, this area right here in the Northeast, the Great Lakes, and the Upper Midwest. You see this color in here. This is because of that wind advisory that's posted by the National Weather Service. We're seeing those high winds across the Upper Midwest that's going to be with us until this evening, till about 7 p.m. This watch exists. And this blue out here is for a red flag and extreme fire danger. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on as well. But we're seeing these showers that we can see rotating around this area of low pressure here, these instability showers that pop up in the instability of the afternoon. But that's going to start to die down as we head on into the evening hours. We can also see a few more showers here coming in across the Pacific Northwest. It's going to be dry across most of the nation. Out west, it's pretty calm right now. Not much going on. Maybe a few showers here in the Wasatch Mountain Range, a couple of snowflakes here and there, but nothing too terribly heavy or organized. We do have a red flag here in Texas as the conditions is very dry, very windy, and it's quite warm as we're seeing those temperatures in the 90s across parts of South Texas right now. And if we take a look at the southeast, things are very calm for the moment and very dry. We're seeing a few flood advisories because they've had excessive rainfall with some of that severe weather over the last few days. So some of those rivers and lakes in Louisiana, Mississippi, over into Alabama are running kind of high because they've had a lot of rainfall over this last week. But there's been drought conditions across many areas of the nation, and that's going to continue even though some areas have had a lot of rainfall, but they're going to need a lot more. So we're going to keep hoping for more rainfall, and I'll keep an eye on the skies and let you know exactly what might happen. So that was a look at what's going on across the nation at this moment. Now let's jump into our forecast for the next coming week and take a look at the forecast for the Twin Cities. All right, folks, now it's time to take a look at the weather across the nation for the next 7 days, especially the Upper Midwest and the Twin Cities. So let's look at our first map. This is our current hazards that we're going to be experiencing here on your Friday night. We have this wind advisory across the Upper Midwest, parts of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois is going to see those high winds with gusts between 30 and 50 miles per hour. It's going to die down a bit as we head into the evening as this advisory expires about at 7 o'clock. We'll have to see if the National Weather Service extends it or modifies it in any way. But we do have this excessive fire danger here right in the Dakotas as well as parts of northern Nebraska. And that's Nebraska. We got South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas. Northern Kansas is going to see that fire danger as it's been very dry. Even though it's cold, but those winds are high and that grass is very dry and can burn quite easily. Also, we have the same thing down here in the state of Texas, a red flag advisory, so for that fire danger as well. But the difference here is it's very hot down in Texas, and we're seeing those temperatures in the 90s across southern Texas. And we're seeing a little bit of issues with flooding across the deep south here in the Carolinas and into Georgia, parts of Mississippi and Alabama. There's a few scattered flood warnings in place there as well, as they've had that excessive rainfall because of those thunderstorms. Now they're seeing those rivers and lakes kind of high as that water runs off. A little bit of watershed management for you. So let's take a look at our next map, and what we're seeing is what we're going to see for your Saturday. And this cold air in place, this cold front right here is that leading edge of that second wave of cold air. We had that first wave come through a couple days ago here in the upper Midwest. Now it's a reinforcing shot of that cold air. It's going to really keep us in the 30s for the next few days. Probably the next couple of weeks. We'll see some 40s. We'll try to get close to 50, but I don't see any 50s for at least the next 2 weeks for the upper Midwest. Maybe in the Great Lakes we'll see a little bit of wet weather for your Saturday as well and Sunday. But we have this new storm to worry about here in the Pacific Northwest. That's going to slide down the west coast and bring rain to Southern California. But for the middle of the nation, we're going to be dry here in these parts of the nation, in the Midwest, the Great Plains, the northern plains for the most part, the mountains out west. We're going to be dry at least until Monday before that storm system starts to affect those areas. So let's take a look at what we have going on for the 27th. This is what we're going to see on your Sunday. We'll see that frontal boundary slowly make its way further south, deeper into the Midwest, into the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, as well as steel country and coal country of Pennsylvania. That cold air start to make its way into your area. But we're watching this storm system. Our eyes are going to turn towards this guy right here. He's going to be the main player in the weather over the next 7 days. This guy is going to make its way into the southwest. It's going to spread rain into Southern California. We haven't spoke of rain in Southern California for at least a month, at least appreciable rain. That guy is going to do it for us before it makes its way out into the plains and the Midwest and start to create havoc once again for your upcoming work week. How about that for you? So this is what we're going to see for your Monday. This is Monday's weather map. That front has sagged a little bit further south into the south, but that will modify as it goes further south because the sun angles in the southern part of the nation is a lot higher. So that cold air will get modified and get warmed up. That boundary layer, that mixed layer, it's going to warm up things so it won't be as cold as it is here in the upper Midwest. There is that storm out west now. That guy is just off the coast of Central California. The Bay Area is right about here. Central Valley, Sacramento, Modesto, Fresno. Going to start to see heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms out of that storm system as this guy is going to eventually make its way to Southern California and then make its way into the mountains and into the plains. It's going to be an interesting week coming up. There it is now for your Tuesday. Here's that guy now is sitting in over Oklahoma and Kansas right here. The area of low pressure is going to have, you see this dry line here, cold front, got a nice little warm front. This here is your triple point, nice setup for severe weather. So that potential is for severe weather exists right in here. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. Once again, going to be in that bullseye for some severe weather potentially. We may see some snow here across the northern sections into the Great Lakes, maybe the upper Midwest, the high plains of Montana, as well as the Dakotas. Might see a little bit of snow mixed in with this storm system on the northern side, but we're going to have to keep an eye on it and just let you know exactly what may happen as we get closer to these days, okay? So here we are going into the 30th now. Now we are on your Wednesday. Here's that storm now. It's moving into the Great Lakes. There it is in the Great Lakes area. It's going to spread rain, maybe some thunderstorms as well for parts of the southeast. Once again, the same places that got hit last week is going to get hit this week. A carbon copy of the last storm. as that we saw from this week. So we're going to see next week. There it is in the Great Lakes now, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, parts of Minnesota. Minnesota might actually get a little bit more snow out of this system than we did out of the last system. But I'll have to keep you updated with my daily forecast on TikTok and YouTube. You can check it out on those two platforms, okay? So here we are. We're going to take a look at what we're going to see on the ground. And this is for your 26th. This is for Saturday, for tomorrow. And we're going to see that rain across parts of upstate New York. Pennsylvania is going to see that rain. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Albany, New York is going to see some rain showers tomorrow. We'll see a little bit of rain showers here in New England, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. Going to see a little bit of rain as far upstate the northern tier of New York City. Massachusetts, Boston might pick up a few rain showers. Now, it's not going to be a washout by any stretch of the imagination, but just be aware that showers are going to be in and around the area. They're going to be kind of hopscotching. It's going to be scattered showers, maybe isolated showers. A little bit heavier snow here across parts of the western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, maybe parts of Toledo, Ohio might pick up a little bit of snow as well, as you folks in northern Michigan might pick up a little bit of snow, and into southern Canada as well as we move on into your Saturday. Here is Sunday. It thins out a little bit, but we see a little bit more snow around for your Sunday as that colder air finally makes its way into that region and cools down the column to where it's cold enough for snow. So we're going to start to see snow in upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh once again. May see some snow, but it's not going to be terribly heavy. Maybe you might get a couple inches here in the darker blues there, whereas darker blue might be 2 to 3 inches of snow. But it is March, and it's going to melt pretty quick after it hits the ground. So it's not going to be too much of a headache, but it will be there. And here's a look at what we're going to see for for your 28th for Monday. Now let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about this. This here, there's snow for the Sierra Nevadas. They haven't seen good snow in over a month here in the Sierra Nevadas. We're going to have good heavy rain down in Southern California. If you're driving down the 405, I-5, you're on the 91, I-10, maybe on the 60 in Pomona, you may see going to be dodging them raindrops. Some of this rain could be heavy at times. There might even be some rumbles of thunder out there, some thunderstorms across LA and the Southern California. San Diego might even get some rain. We're going to even see some rain, maybe some thunderstorms out in the deserts, all the way into about Las Vegas. This is for your Monday as this storm starts to make its way onto the Pacific coast. Now, let's see what happens for Tuesday. This is where it's going to be for your Tuesday. It's going to be right here in the Central Rockies right now. Here it is, Utah, Salt Lake City. Going to see that heavy snow. It's going to be cold enough again for snow across the higher elevations. The Wasatch Mountain range, the Great Basin maybe. You're going to be on the back end. You might pick up a few showers as well. But we're going to really see that snow here across parts of Colorado. Denver might see some heavy snow as well as that moves out, as this storm makes its way into the Central Plains. It's going to bring that severe weather, but we are seeing that rain across northern Arizona. Maybe that'll be some snow if you're in Flagstaff, maybe Sedona. Maybe you might pick up a little bit of snow as well. We'll see that rain across Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is going to be for your Tuesday as this storm is crossing the mountains now. And now it's going to be on your Wednesday. Here it is in the Central Plains. We're seeing these thunderstorms right here. This is where that severe weather is going to be on your Wednesday. It's going to be also in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana. We'll start to see those thunderstorms make it all the way into southern Illinois as well as western Indiana. But we'll see rain across most of the rest of the Midwest and the Tennessee Valley, the Mississippi Valley, going to pick up some rain with some scattered thunderstorms as well. And if you're here in the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, the northern upper peninsula of Michigan, as well as the northern half of the boot of Michigan, there's going to be some rain and snow mix. So mixed precipitation for these folks here. It could get a little bit soupy, sloppy at times. So I don't think we'll see much in the way of accumulation because it's going to be still in the mid 30s for the most part. So that precipitation is going to fall as rain with a few snowflakes mixed in, but we do have that indicated on here. Okay, this is what we're going to see for your Thursday. That little bit of that mixed precipitation continues for the upper Midwest, as well as the rest of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley. We start to see those thunderstorms as well. The severe threat moves east. Now it's moving into the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina. Atlanta will get in on that severe thunderstorm. The central portion of the Florida Panhandle, Tallahassee could see those showers, maybe some severe storms. That tornado threat always exists when you have severe weather. So if you're in these regions for your Thursday, you're going to keep an eye out for that for your skies, and keep an ear out for the weather conditions, because it can constantly change and it can get quite dangerous when you get some of those stronger thunderstorms. So here's a look at what we're going to see for your temperatures for your Saturday. Once again, I'm going to harp on how cold it's going to be in the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. We're seeing those 30s across the Twin Cities. If you do see Milwaukee here, you see Green Bay, Detroit over here. We're seeing those 30s pretty much area wide. But if you take a look at the south, look down in Texas, you see 80s and 90s down across the San Antonio, Austin. If you look at El Paso, Texas, you're seeing those 90-degree temperatures. Phoenix, Las Vegas, Tucson, Yuma, Arizona, we're seeing those temperatures in the 90s. It's getting hot out there. It's starting to get into that time of the year as we move into April. By the end of April, we're going to see the hundreds area wide. You move into May, all bets are off. It's going to be hot and dry, at least until the monsoon season starts in July, when you might get some relief if you happen to be in an area that receives a monsoon storm. But those are very spotty in nature, and that's a long ways away. But when I used to live down there, I loved the monsoon. So, but anyway, that is a feature that does occur out there. But in the meantime, it's going to bake your pants off, and that fire danger is going to exist as well. Pacific Northwest, we're seeing those 60s, but we're seeing 70s and things work all the way into the high plains of Montana. We're going to see 70s all the way up in the Cheyenne, Butte, Montana, Missoula, Montana. We're going to see 70s work its way all the way up there. So we take a look at your Sunday. Again, we're seeing that warm air across the southwest, Texas, the deserts of Arizona, Southern California. But you see our cutoff line here across the Central Plains and the Deep South. The Tennessee Valley is right about here. Here's the Upper Mississippi Valley, the high plains of Nebraska, South and North Dakota, Montana's there, and we're seeing that cold air continue to hang on here in the Great Lakes. It moves a little bit further east towards New England, so you guys are going to jump in on that cold, which is why you're going to see a little bit of heavy snow on your Sunday for that region, as that cold air really digs in. So we're going to see the Arctic air mass in place here across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes and parts of the Northeast. Here is a look for your Monday. Monday kind of pulls back a little bit. We get a little bit of reprieve, and we do finally get a 50 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is right here on that tip of South Dakota and Minnesota. We do see a 55 there for Monday, but those 40s will be in place across the Twin Cities and the rest of the upper Midwest. But if you say Green Bay, Duluth, still going to remain in the 30s for the most part for the far northern cities. Sault Ste. Marie, Marquette, you're going to see those 30s as well, and maybe some 20s for some of you folks out there. But in the Southwest, Texas is going to remain on the warm side with temperatures in the 80s and 90s. As we take a look at for your Tuesday now, we see that cold air kind of build back in a little bit. It's just hanging on. It's just holding on for dear life. That warm air is trying to push its way to the north, but it's just really not going to be able to make it at this time, because we do have that new storm system that's going to be right here in the plains. You can kind of make out where it's going to be as you look at the temperature. You can see that low pressure center is somewhere right in this region, because you see that colder temperatures, those 30s and 40s on the backside. You see those 60s, 70s, and 80s on this side, on the front side, as that warm air is wrapping in from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to create a dry line right about in here. And you're going to see that severe weather in this region once again. So here is a look at what we're going to see for your Wednesday. That storm makes its way further east. That warm air pushes a little bit back further south. That cold air continues to hang on here across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes areas. That's not going to change. I'm telling you this. Just pay attention to what I'm telling you now. I ain't going to steer you wrong. It's going to be cold. You're going to keep on those jackets for the next 2 weeks at least. And we're going to see a little bit of a reprieve from the warmth in the southwest because they're going to be under the effects after that storm. That colder air is going to work its way into the desert southwest in Southern California and Arizona. So they're going to cool off after that storm passes later in the week. And let's take a look. You know what? I've been doing these weather forecasts, and I never show love to our neighbors to the north. Alaska is going to see a little bit of wet weather for your Saturday as well. For parts of the Aleutian Islands here, Anchorage is going to see a little bit of rain and maybe some snow, mixed precipitation. Not a whole bunch as that Pacific storm that's going to make its way into Southern California and affect the mainland of the United States. It's just going to have a minimum impact on these folks in Alaska. That's just a little bit too far to the south. So that is a look at what's going on across Alaska right now. Juneau as well as Anchorage is going to see those temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Usually whatever's going on in Alaska correlates to how our weather is going to be. Our weather is pretty much identical at this time, so we're not seeing much of a difference between the upper Midwest and Alaska right now, which is where a lot of our weather comes from in the winter. Here's take a look at what's going to go on for your Sunday across Alaska. We're going to see a little bit of snow as well again, but I don't think it'll be much here. It's just going to be isolated and spotty showers, snow showers around, maybe a little bit of rain showers down here by Juneau, but we'll see a little bit again around Alaska, Anchorage as well, excuse me. Up here we got Fairbanks and Nome, Alaska. Going to be bitterly cold, of course. You're going to see that cold. And you're going to have those blowing snow as those high winds are going to be coming in off of the Arctic Ocean, as well as you got Arctic high pressure and some of the plains up in the northern sections of Alaska around Fairbanks and Nome. In some areas it's quite flat, and those winds blow pretty high, so you will see some blowing snow in those regions both on Saturday and Sunday. Now let's take a look at for our friends out in Hawaii. Show them a little bit of love. Now here's what we have for Hawaii. Now Hawaii is interesting because there's not really a whole lot of weather. The weather pattern is consistent from day to day across. We get those trade winds that's going to be blowing across, and it's going to bring those sea breeze showers. If you live in tropical places like Hawaii, you won't see it's not going to be any thunderstorms, but it's going to always be rainy, just showery all the time as those showers interact with the islands, as that moisture, those clouds interact with the mountains of Hawaii, around Honolulu, Waikiki. There's a lot of high mountains in Hawaii, and that ocean breezes, those moist trade winds, interacts with those mountains. So especially if you are on this side of the mountains, as the wind is blowing this direction, so you'll see a little bit of some heavier showers in, like say Hilo, Hawaii, on the Big Island. You might see some heavier showers on those trade winds. The same thing for your Sunday. You see, as you can see how you see those heavier showers here, and so that is a look at what's going. It's not really a whole lot to say about Hawaii. That's why I don't really cover it. But some folks did ask me, "Hey, why don't you cover some Alaska and Hawaii?" So they're gonna deal with just rain. Now, mind you, this is not all day rain. It's not a washout. Hawaii is a lot like living in Miami. And when I lived in Miami, when the winds would blow from the east to the west, when they would come off the Atlantic, it would spark these showers right along the coast. If you were like Miami Beach, you would always see these showers every now and then. And it would rain like cats and dogs for like 30 seconds. They would last less than a minute, maybe 2 minutes. and then the sun will come out, and then it's hot and humid and uncomfortable again. That's kind of how it does in Hawaii. It's the same way. You get the sea breeze, you get those trade winds, and it brings those showers. So, go out if you're in Hawaii, if you're on vacation in Hawaii, go out and have a great time, because those showers ain't gonna really affect you. And besides, it's so warm that those rain showers are warm. They're not cold, so it is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So that was a look at what's going on in Hawaii. We're going to talk about the fire weather threats. So we have two areas of fire weather, right? We have the Dakotas, parts of the South Dakota, Nebraska, parts of Kansas. It's going to have that fire. So for us, the strong wind is going to be very windy, very dry air, and the high temperatures won't be a factor. It's quite cold. We're seeing those temperatures. It's going to get warm over the next couple of days, but we'll see 50s down in that region, 50s and 60s as we move into early next week. We will see it warm up just a bit, but it's going to be quite dry, so that fire danger exists for that region. It's probably the biggest threat. And then we also have down in Texas, where that red flag advisory is going to have been posted, and that is going to be warm and dry, but winds also is an issue down there as well. So let's take a look at the weather highlights for this weekend for the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Gonna be cold. We're gonna see those temperatures in the 30s and 40s for the most part. Well, 30s for this weekend. We won't see any 40s till later in the week next week. Blowing snow, as some of that snow is falling, and it's got a low moisture content, so it's very fluffy snow, and that rain and snow has been mixed, and it has been blowing. I was out today on 94 as we were driving down the highway. Those showers, when those snow showers came through, and it was blowing across the roadway, you could just see it like dust just blowing around. So we're going to see that wintry mix of rain and snow into the evening hours for your Friday. Won't see it tomorrow and Sunday, but we will see it this evening for a little bit as they're starting to wind down as we move into darkness. Here's a look at the current conditions right now across the Twin Cities. It's about 35 degrees with a dew point of 27 degrees. The humidity is 71%. The winds are out of the west-northwest, currently at 12 miles per hour. But remember, we've been seeing those gusts up to 40 miles per hour right now. No heat index, but we do have a wind chill of about 25 degrees. Unless that wind picks up, then that wind chill is going to go whoop. But they're not going to issue a wind chill advisory for tonight, because it's just not going to. The wind advisory is going to be enough. Visibility is going to be 10 miles per hour. No, 10 miles is your visibility tonight, so you can see far. It's very clear, even though there's some clouds out there. The barometric pressure, 29.79 inches of mercury. That's low pressure. That means that's why we've been able to see those showers and that instability, that low barometric pressure. Sunrise and sunset for your Saturday morning. Oh, no, for this morning, actually. I'm sorry about that. 7:05 with sunrise. Sunset tonight is going to be at 7:30. Here's a look at the forecast for Friday, for your Friday. So we saw those showers today, and we saw a high temperature of 42 degrees with about a 40% chance. Now we're going into the evening. We're going to see a low temperature tonight of 19 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, but it kind of will clear up a little bit more as we move through the overnight. Those winds will be out of the west-northwest at 25 miles per hour, so that wind advisory might remain in place or be reissued after this one expires that we're currently on. I wouldn't be surprised if they reissued that wind advisory. Here is a look at your Saturday. Mostly sunny for your Saturday, very dry, clear day tomorrow, so you know it's going to be cold. 32 degrees, sunny days. If you watch my video where I talked about cold days and how clear they can be, really cold days, we'll see a high of 32 degrees under a sunny day. It's going to be brilliant sunshine tomorrow, as well as tomorrow night. That moonlight's going to be bright with an overnight low of 15 degrees. Here's what we're looking at for your Sunday. Sunday, we're going to see some clouds finally move into the picture with a high temperature of 31 degrees, as well as Sunday night, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies with an overnight low of 23, a little bit warmer because we'll have some of that cloud cover out there. And here is your 5-day forecast for the Twin Cities. Monday, partly cloudy skies with a high temperature of 39. But as you can see, as we move into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we start to deal with that Pacific storm that's going to be moving into the plains. It's going to first spread a little bit of rain into our area late in the day on Tuesday, probably more towards evening, where we'll see a high temperature for your Tuesday at 40 degrees, 37 and 39 for Wednesday and Thursday, with a mixed precipitation, rain and snow mix. No accumulation is expected, but we will see overnight low temperatures in the upper 30s, or in the low 30s to upper 20s to low 30s. We dry out for your Friday as we see a temperature of 41 degrees with an overnight low of 32. That was a look at the weather for this upcoming week across the nation and as well as for the Twin Cities. My name is Dooley Godot. You can please subscribe to this channel here on YouTube. Leave your likes and your comments is welcome. I appreciate it. I really need that to help grow the channel and help the channel get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. All right, I will see you Monday for your TikTok, for your Monday forecast, as well as on YouTube, my daily forecast, Monday through Friday. All right, I'll see you then. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.